Okay, so here are the notes 4.5 word problems with a start number. So the first thing you're going to do is figure out what you know and what you don't know. And then you are going to determine which of your known stuff is a total number and which is a start number. The last known number is your common difference, right? Which is also going to be called, we're going to call it our variable number, and we're bringing down a common difference from arithmetic days. Now, if it's a variable number, that means it's going to have a letter. Now, some of the ways we're going to see this, we could see it as the start number plus the variable number, or minus the variable number equals the total. Or what we're more likely going to write it as, the total number equals the variable number plus or minus our start number. This is the one we seem to do more. They mean the same thing though. Nothing different about them really, just the order. But that's going to be more important for the back side of your notes. So the front side of your notes is bringing back them semester 1 skills. So Elvira, the cafeteria manager, gets to choose which food line in the second will get a second location. Her boss asks her to determine which of the line is more profitable. She decides to analyze the salad and pizza lines, but since she's a health nut, she decided to analyze the salad line first. Each salad is sold for $4.85, but the cafeteria needs to pay a salad line worker for $35 each school day. We're going to make a table and create explicit equations. Now, the money the cafeteria makes in our table is their profit. And profit is, just like it says, the money they make. Now, if you are selling each salad for $4.85, that means you are going to be adding $4.85 every time you sell a salad. But if you pay someone, a salad line worker, each day, that's not profit. They lose money, so that's going to be a subtracted 35. Now looking at our table here, if they sell 0 salads, it's not going to be 0. It's going to be a negative 35 because they still got to pay that salad line worker. But if they sell 1 salad, well, that's where we bring up our common differences again and add that $4.85 to both sides. Gives us negative 30.15 for their profit. If they sell 2 salads, I'm going to add that $4.85 again, which gives us negative 25.30. And if I add that $4.85 again for when they sell 3 salads, that gives us a negative 20.45. Okay, so let's write an equation. So we have S for salads and P for profit. Well, we have to think which ones of these 2 variables that we're talking about, which one of them is our total? Well, profit is your total. That's how much money you're trying to get to, right? That's your end result. So we're going to have P equals, because total is always going to be on one side of the variable, as you guys can see. It's never within anybody else. So we got P equals, well, we started our table with that negative 35, bringing back them skills, and then we added 485 every time we went down the table. However, we added for every time we had a salad, so we have that S. So bringing back semester 1 skills. Hopefully they're still there. All right, the next bit is now we're going to figure out how much they make after they sell 30 salads. So let's rewrite this equation. P equals negative 35 plus 4.85 S. Well, salads means we're going to replace this S with a 30, and S and that 4.85 are being multiplied. So nothing else changed except for that S. And when I go to solve this, right, if I go to figure out what this number is, we get 110.50 because we're talking about money. So they made $110 for selling 30 salads. All right, now I want you to do this one. It's the same, except this time you're talking about hundo salads. What do you get? And hopefully you got 450, but make sure you show your work because I'm not gonna. All right, in the next one, it says Elvira wanted to figure out a fast way to calculate the number of salads she needed to sell in order to make a certain amount of money. This information would help her to determine if a second location would be helpful. I can't read. So we're still using that equation we created. P equals negative 35 plus 4.85 S. But this time we are selling, we're trying to get money. Well, money, between our two variables we have, S stands for salad, P stands for profit. So we're going to replace P with 86.25, but everything else remains the same. And oh my gosh, we know how to do this. Yeah, it's got ugly decimals, but that's okay because we're smart cookies. We can solve and figure out S. So I'm going to add that 35 on both sides, which leaves us with 4.85 S. Make sure S looks like an S and not like a 5. 121.25. We get rid of that 4.85 by dividing it on both sides, which leaves us with 25. So S means we sold 25 salads. All right. Next one, still using that equation, nothing's changed. All right, but this time we're selling, we want to make 425 and 75 cents. So that's what P turns into. We're plugging that in. But nothing else changed. Once again, we're going to solve, so we're going to add that 35 on both sides. This leaves us with 485S equals $460.75. We're going to have to divide that 485 on both sides, which means our S is going to equal 95. Salads were sold. All right, so I want you to do. All right, so now I want you to do this last one totally on your own. So pause the video, give it a go using that same equation. Nothing has changed yet. And you should get P equals 60. All right, here we go. This is what happens. This is what you're more likely to see. So a softball team raised $1,579.50 to go to a tournament. They rented a bus for $1,175.50, and it will cost them $25.25 per player for food. So we're going to write and solve an equation to determine the X, which is the number of players. But I think we used P in class. So what do we know? Well, we know they raised $1,579.50. We also know they rented a bus for $1,175. So rented a bus for $1,175.50. Correct. And then the last thing we know is that it was $25.25 per player of food. What we don't know is P, the number of players. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an equation, which is going to be the equal sign. We're going to start with our total. And throughout this, your totals aren't going to say, hey, this is the total. It's going to be a little bit more ambiguous. Same with your start value. It's not going to say, hey, they started with this much. It's going to be a little bit more ambiguous, more like you have to use your brain and use your thinking skills. So in this one, raised is our total. So that's our $1,579.50. Then what we did in class is we first figured out our variable number. So you have to figure out, hey, this is what we don't know, players. What of the stuff that we've used says players too? Well, that's this guy. So that means this is my variable number. So that means we had 25.25 P. All right. Then what you're going to do is you have that last piece of information. This is your start. So that means $1,175.50. But you have to figure out what math is going to go in between. Is this going to be add or subtract? Well, if you are renting a bus and it will cost that much, that math word is addition. Okay? You will solve this on your own for extra credit, each one of these last problems. So in this next one here, it says Tyshawn has a points card from AMC. He receives 85 reward points just for signing up, earns 2.5 for each visit, and he needs 110 points for a free movie ticket. We're going to write and solve an equation to determine the V, the number of visits. So let's write what we know. All right, so we know it's 85 points to sign up, 2.5 points each visit, and 110 points for free tickets. I abbreviated points PTS. But what we don't know is V, the number of visits to earn a free movie ticket. So we don't know V, number of visits. So we're going to write our equation. And we always want to start with our total. So of what we have here, which one's our total? Well, we're trying to get to the free movie ticket, so 110 points is our total. Now you want to figure out which one's your variable number. Well, this talks about visits and this talks about visits, so that 2.5 has to be our variable number. And I'm abbreviating variable. So I've got 2.5V. That means this is our start, because you only can use each number once. Now, think about this. This is where you're going to use your brain. If you receive 85 points for just signing up, and then every visit after that is 2.5 points each, that is going to be addition. That is how a rewards program works. If it was subtraction, nobody would want to join that rewards program, okay? Again, solve it for extra credit. Next problem says Enola bought snacks for her team's practice. She bought a bag of oranges for $2.06 and a 3-pack of juice bottles. The cost before tax was $5.06. We're going to write and solve an equation which can be determined to figure out, we said J for how much juice costs in class. So let's write out what we know and what we don't know. All right, so we know the total is $5.06. We know the oranges were $2.06, and she bought a 3-pack of juice. What we don't know is J for cost of juice. Okay, so equation sign. This one's nice. It straight up tells you that 506 is the total. Told you. Then this talks about juice, this talks about juice. So these two things make the variable number, but it says a 3-pack of juice, so we have 3J. And then lastly, we have oranges, which is your start. So we have 206. Now you got to think about stuff. She bought these together, and there's that word and. So it's going to be addition. It's not always going to be addition, but that and word says it is addition. All right, the last one, read it on your own. Write what you know, what you don't know, and also see if you can write the equation. Give it a total go on your own, and then see if you get the same thing as me. So pause the video now. All right, so hopefully you wrote all what you know and what you don't know correctly, and then this is the equation. Your bill is what you're going to end up paying. That is your total. Nothing's going to change about that. $5 per gigabyte, that's your variable number because we don't know gigabytes, and $5 per gigabyte, they go together. The flat cost is $43.50. That is your start number. That means even if you don't use any gigabytes, okay, you're still paying $43.50. Okay, so that's your start cost. No matter what, you're paying that $43.50. So these are your notes. Use your notes to help you with homework 4.5, and have a good day.